Spartans! What is your profession?
So guys, welcome to the Fit and Wealth podcast. My name is Phil.
My name is P.
And we're going to be doing our thing today. Obviously, this is something new, so we're going to be talking about why this podcast has become a thing and future plans and, things that are currently in the works for what could come in the future.
Yes, indeed. So the reason why we came up with this podcast is in order to create a safe space for young men in general. Women are welcome, but the podcast is definitely aimed to men in order to create a safe space, safe haven where we can share ideas, we can hold ourselves accountable, we can strive for better things. So a place where a man can be a man, can be open to each other, we can be supporting of each other, and just positivity at the end of the day. So that's the reason why we came up with this podcast. So hopefully in future we have good plans. We will have guests. We already in works getting in touch with certain people,
100%.
People that inspire us, people that we look up to, and fingers crossed things will go that way.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of the name, Fit and Wealth, it's mixed in. For a man, obviously, the fitness side can be important, not just for physical appearance, for what it does to your mental. A lot of people don't talk about that. We're going to be covering that. Obviously, the wealth side, in this day and age, prices of things are going crazy. So it's important to be able to kind of put yourself in a position where you're not having to worry about, how am I going to get my next slice of bread, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. So hence why we will try to reach out to certain people, once again, people that we be looking up to, and when it comes to financial guidance, financial options, and hopefully we'll be able to pull that out and bring them in. Definitely bring some positivity, some good impact, and some good information for all of us. All is to be able to create a community where we can share with each other when it comes to fitness, when it comes to finance, because reality is as a man in today's society, those are the two things that will make you stand out when it comes to success in life. If you are fit, you are able to go after what you want. If you are financially stable, you don't have to worry, as Phil said, with your next slice of bread. So that's the goal on this podcast.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, once things get going, even here with the intro, you probably start to connect more with what we're saying. You've heard all these different things said about the world. Some people call it the Matrix. Some people may call it thinking outside the box, obviously, to become the best version of you. And we're going to cover all those topics and then some. And bro, I'm looking forward to it. Besides that, is there anything particular you're interested in covering in the next few episodes?
It's a bit of overall, once again, don't focus just on the name. That's our main goal, obviously, to bring the fitness and financial side aspect of things up. But we're going to be covering a bit of everything, really, especially things more dedicated to the male public, once again, not excluding anyone, but that's our target, because we feel that today's society is being overlooking men 100%. As a whole. And once again, there's a lot of good spaces, good podcasts in the industry where are covering certain aspects. I just want us to be a bit overall in regards to any type of topics. But once again, as the name said, our main focus will be those two.
Yes. And with that being said, and with today being the first episode initially, what got you into fitness?
To be honest, I've from young age, I've done all type of sports. I've always been involved in sports. So I have an older brother, and you have the tendency to follow or imitate or emulate everything that he 100%. Does. So my brother was very active from young age, and I always tried to follow his footsteps.
What sports did you play?
So football, and then after that, I did a bit of everything: tennis table, track, and then I found another passion, which was bodybuilding and martial arts, specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to my master Sergio Vita, Lucio Sergio as well, all my brothers. I've always been active in regards to when it comes to fitness overall. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to dedicate myself to one. I was trying to do everything.
Jack of all trades, yeah.
Exactly. I appreciate when it comes to martial arts, it stays with you.
Discipline,
so it doesn't matter
well.
how. Yeah. So when I first encountered Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was in a rebellious stage. Let's say, for example, I wasn't being a good boy, but from joining that tribe, I would say, it teaches you so many values, like be respectful, be polite, be patient, learn to listen. So many things that I carry with myself up until today, and obviously I will try to pass on to my kids and any young man or woman that I encounter throughout this thing called life. So
that is one of the main reasons we're doing this podcast. You've actually hit the nail on the head there. What you experience and the knowledge you got from doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I will learn something new.
Yeah.
Everyone watching is probably going to be taught something that they can apply in their own lives.
Yeah, because people have the misconception. Okay, yes, definitely you have the confidence side of it that it gives you, because you are aware that you know something that you definitely can protect yourself, 100%. You can harm the person, but it also creates a brotherhood that I haven't experienced in any other type of sports. Like I said, I've done quite a few. Some of them we haven't seen each other in years, but when we see each other, it's like nothing changed.
Nothing changed, yeah.
And we try. Obviously, as time goes by, everybody has his own life, things and stuff.
Change, yeah.
But it's still there, believe me. Like, and any time we see each other or something happens with one of us, we, get together and try to find a way to sort it out. But
the main thing.
So that's one of the main reasons why sports are going to be so
involved in what we're
this.
doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me just right. So, can you remember the first time you went into the gym? How old was you?
Like I said, I was really, really young. Obviously, I wasn't doing much per se. I was just following my brother with his friends. Once in a while, I would try to grab a dumbbell, but I learned by just watching, and so I was picking up things slowly. I wasn't even aware, and when I became old enough and start training, then certain things. So as a personal trainer myself, one of the things, I'm very methodical and very specific in regards to movements and stuff like that, and I picked that from my brother and the people that he trained with. So those are the things that I carry with me up until today.
Yeah, and for anyone who's watching who might be new to training, he mentioned one very important thing there. If you don't know what you're doing at the start, just watch what other people are doing, and then just put together some of the things you've seen and create your own sort of workout plan.
Exactly, because as long as you have the blueprint, then you can twist and turn a little bit, but try not to deviate too much, because then you're doing something else. Watch if the position is the correct one, if the movement is the right one. Then you have the cases where if someone is taller than the other, then the length that it needs to go, or it needs to stretch a bit more here and there. But those are little things, but try not to deviate too much from the blueprint itself, So in your case, what got you into fitness as well, Phil?
Whoa, so with me, I was quite sporty, like you mentioned at the start. But one thing about me is I was very skinny, which is one.
No one couldn't tell. One couldn't tell, bro.
Bro, I was very skinny, and I remember this one day, I would have been maybe 12, 13. It's a stupid story, but I'll say it anyway. So there was like girls in my school, and like I don't know what people are arguing about, but it's something to do with who's got abs, who doesn't have abs.
Oh, okay.
On this day, I remember I went home. I looked at my stomach. I said, I don't have abs. I said I got abs, but I don't have abs. And I remember from that day, I wasn't training in a gym.
Yeah.
But at home, I was doing sit-ups in the living room, press-ups, My parents at this point probably thought I was crazy because they'll be watching TV.
Yeah.
I'm there. But for me, that's where it all started.
So basically, your source of inspiration were girls.
And this kid, if you're watching, guys, do not let girls be your source of inspiration.
Not at all.
Because you want to get to a point where it's like you're doing it for you, and then everything else will fall in place.
Beyond that, because once you start working on yourself, especially physically, because as humans we are visual animals, so the better position you put yourself physically, the better like chances you have to be chosen.
100%.
So just stay and work on yourself, and eventually things will come around. So, but don't do it with the specific purpose of just females or males in this case.
100%.
Work on yourself, but with the mindset that you're doing it for you, but with the intent of having a better outcome. That's the best way.
They say if you focus on becoming the best version of you, things will fall into place. And if you're someone who's thinking, oh, I'm doing this for girls, understand girls wait at the finish line for the winners. So you must become a winner, and they'll come. It happens naturally. And next question to you: if someone was to slap, let's say, £1 million in your bank account, what are you doing?
At this stage, with the once again having inspirations in people like Wall Street Trapper, Neil DeViso, Annual Leisure, so many, Billy Carlson, Mike Rashid. There's plenty that I wouldn't be able to name because I try to follow all these people and get involved with what they promoting and showing showcasing. So obviously reinvest, because the money sitting on your bank account is not going to do you any good.
100%.
So try to think in long-term investments, cryptos. Try to be ahead, because as we moving, like, it's not only good to invest in things of the past. Gold, silver, always, but perfect. But if you have good future investments, things that that people will eventually catch up, and if you ahead in
then
regards to
you're setting yourself up nicely.
Not just yourself, but you need to think in regards to your lineage, your kids, your grandkids, and stuff like that. So not on the state of splashing, showing off, and because that's dead. Like, you're going to be doing it for people that most of them don't really care about you.
100%.
Vice versa. And ego is not something that drives me that much. I'm still a man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say zero out, but it's not something that drives me as much anymore. So, I wouldn't be splashing on massive cars and stuff like that. I'll try to be intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying it nicely. At the end of the day, you gotta hustle for your last name, not your first name.
Exactly. So, in your case, reporting the same question, what would you do with £100 million right now?
Bro, 100 million, bro. Even if it's 100 million, bro, it's a lot. Let's say it was a million, 100 million. I think the first thing I'd be looking to do is to go into housing, but it'll be tactical.
Yeah.
So, obviously, what's one type of housing that's always going to be filled? Student housing.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go into something linked to either uni accommodations or uni housing, because with these kids coming up, obviously they get given student finance.
Yes.
So they don't have to genuinely be working to get a job. The money's thrown at them. They just have to find the accommodation. So my focus would probably be in making a company based around accommodations, because obviously that's brick and mortar houses.
Yes, exactly.
And then I'll go into crypto, like you mentioned, and then maybe look on creating some sort of agency that brings other people up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because when you look at like the music industry, people like Jay-Z, Rihanna, where did she come from? You look at people like Birdman, he brought on Lil Wayne, and then people like Lil Wayne then brought on people like Drake.
Yes.
The game is always about bringing other people, and then it's like something grows that then goes beyond yourself, like you said.
The initial idea of student housing is not far-fetched. There's this American man called Sam Sell, if I'm not mistaken, and he became a billionaire like that. So he was he's a descendant of Polish immigrants to the US, and he saw the potential of like getting involved in real estate just into as a second option for campuses, and today he's a billionaire. So
see, I didn't even know that story.
Yeah.
I've just always thought in my head, because I once lived in an area where it was like students. So it was I was in shared housing, and I was thinking, for this room of mine, I'm paying, let's say it was around £300. There's 4 of us in the house. That's £1,200. This house does not cost £1,200 a month.
Not at all.
If anything, if they have it on mortgage, maybe they're paying 300, 400.
Everything is profit. Everything else is profit.
Ever since then, boom, my brain was like, if I get or make this amount of money sum, I have to invest a chunk in something like that.
Exactly. So, one of the reasons why I mentioned the people that I mentioned is because they give you solid options and sound options and secure options as well. They don't tell you to go on a rampage or anything like that. And obviously, if you are, once again, we're on different stages. We're not teenagers anymore.
100%.
So at this stage, you need to be, proactive and think things thoroughly before you take a step. And with the information, because a lot of the issues, especially, for example, let's focus in our black community in general, overall, here, America, wherever, is lack of information.
100%.
Once you have access to information, then you have a new range of options, and from there, it's easier for you to know how to move in regards to generate wealth for you and your kin.
Which is true.
So, it's just a matter like, once again, check out for these people that I mentioned. They definitely sound very secure, and you won't regret it. Yeah.
And as for a message, if you could go back in time and give your younger self a message, what would that message be?
Work on yourself. Don't get distracted, because unfortunately we tend to, especially when we think in the positions where we the man, but it goes away really quick. So once again, thinking long term is the best thing. Yeah, you might lose some nice parties, nice holidays, nice this and that. But then when you get to your mid-20s, early 30s, you're set for life, and everything that some of your friends were doing, now they need to try to catch up to get where you are now.
100%.
So
long term, not short term.
Think long term, like short term, instant. Because we in the society, reality is, as you know, like instant gratification.
Yep.
Everything needs to be right now. That's not sustainable.
100%.
And some people be taking and choosing some, rather questionable
fixes.
ways, and then initially it's all like sunshine and rainbows, but eventually when the taxman, in regards to the consequences come, is it's sad, because then you hear about suicide rates, and and then you go and look into a specific niche. Something must be there, but once again, it's sad, but we need to be accountable for the choices we make.
That's
because
the
majority
thing.
of things are you choose. Like, we chose to be here. We are aware that we're going to have people either supporting or criticizing, and we need to be open for both things, and take it on the chin and move on.
100%.
But it was a choice at the end of the day. No one forces us. So majority of things, at least in the Western country, let's say, you have the option to choose what you want to do or where you want to go.
That's the thing. It's just about being smart about, because you mentioned suicide rates become high because people get put in tight situations, and that's the only way out. But I was thinking to myself earlier on, in life, we don't realize it, but it's the way things are set up is forcing us to obviously push towards instant gratification, and it's forcing us to react more emotional rather than being disciplined.
Yeah, and once again, shout out to Andrew Tate, like free the Tates, free the top G.
Yeah, they need to get set.
Yeah, man.
Spreading a good message.
Recently, he was interviewed by what's his name? The British guy that's in America now.
Oh, Piers Morgan.
Yes, my bad. And he mentioned it, but he mentioned it before, and it's true. Emotional man, in this case, because he's a man's space, he's a dangerous man.
100%.
And an emotional man, he never takes accountability or responsibility for his actions or what he chooses to do. He was always blaming on others.
100%.
An emotional man won't be able to be stoic enough to stop and think and process the situation and then take a different route.
100%.
Because there's nothing wrong with you turning the other cheek sometimes, depending on the situation. And an emotional man is dangerous.
That's
overall.
true. Because they don't even know how they're gonna react.
No. So those are the things that I think are lacking now, because once again, if you're not hold accountable, and as you said, we're in a society where everything is instant gratification.
Instant.
Then where are we heading to? Obviously, for example, me, I'm from a time where if you've done something, you would suffer the consequences, good or bad, depending on what you did. But you would suffer the consequences. If you did something like, let's say, for example, you invested in the right thing, the consequences you're gonna see like profit benefits. As the other way around, if you invest in the wrong thing, you're gonna lose it all and start all over again. But from the moment where everything is a pat in the back, is okay, you're not allowed to go through that pain, through that suffering.
When pain finally hits you.
Exactly, because pain
like
molds
the end
you.
of the world.
Pain molds you, like
100%.
Tough situations, they mold you. Like being in the bottom is not all bad, as long as you're trying to get out of it.
That's
as
the
long
thing.
as you're trying to, improve, and it's the same thing. Let's go back to our reality, the gym.
I was literally going to mention that as well, yeah.
So if you stagnate, if something is not like let's say for example on a deadlift, you can't go up. You need to change something. You need to,
100%.
but you're not going to give up, are you?
You got to keep pushing.
Exactly. So same thing. It applies for everything in life, or
That's
majority
the
of things in
and
life.
And before we're moving from the gym topic, linked to that, they say if you're in the gym, there's nothing wrong with being weak.
No.
If you're willing to do something about it.
Exactly.
The only problem is when you're complaining about being weak and then doing nothing.
Yeah. Complaining won't take you anywhere. Bro.
Exactly.
And we all know that. So
complaining is a treadmill.
Yeah.
You're there using all your energy, but when you finish, you're still in the same place.
No, bro. Like you just need to keep pushing. Once again, be humble enough in order to realize, okay, I'm not evolving in this, and there's someone in the gym that you might not talk to at all, but you know that this person in this specific exercise is quite good, he's quite strong. There's nothing wrong with you approaching the person like politely and ask for some guidance. It's totally fine.
Bro, it's I'm from a life.
I'm from a time that guidance was everything. We would look up to the elderly in order to guide us on whatever it was.
Shortcuts. They'll teach you from their mistakes, and then you pass it on.
But unfortunately, there's no such thing as a community anymore.
That's the thing.
Like, we have this African proverb: it takes a community or a village to raise a child. And no one cares about each other's child. Just yours. You know what I mean? So we don't have that, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to create this podcast, so we can create that like village.
Our own village.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. So that's how we were heading. 2023. Good things.
Man, I think we need to push on the village.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching us for the first time, doesn't matter what social media platform you're on, if you want to become a part of this village, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, the rest of it.
Yes, indeed.
That's literally straight off the cuff, but we're the village now. It is what it is.
Yeah. We need to create a village because, for example, going back to the Tate brothers, the reason why I love them is because the concept that they created with the war room, bro, there's a covenant. that's just us men. If, let's say, for example, let's bring the issue of mental wealth. Okay, if you're depressed, right? Here, as us brothers, we don't need to take whatever we have on the circle out. We as brothers, we need to find a way in order to help you come out of that situation, in order for you to be in a better place, so everybody can profit from it. Us, your family, your friends, anyone in your surroundings.
100%.
So that's how I see that's how I see what we're creating right now.
Yeah.
Like a war room, but we're a space where we can be honest with each other. We can open up to each other. We can, and whatever is said here stays here.
And we grow.
It doesn't
from
have to go, because that's one of the issues that I see nowadays. As men, we don't have somewhere where we can go talk and then, among us try to sort it out, and that's it. But when that happen, when you as an individual, as a man, you open yourself to a man, and then next thing you know, if something goes wrong between you two, your things is out there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like
you know
that.
what I mean? There's like that type of standard is not good.
It's
good.
Emotionally reacting to
once
situations.
again, because you as a stoic man, you know how to separate your emotions from facts. You came to me in confidence, or to us as someone that's people that you trust. We can't backstab you.
This
like
is
that.
and it's like, if you look at like history, let's say caveman days, women needed to emotionally react, and they still do now. Why? Because they'll be taking care of the children.
Exactly.
Something happens, they emotionally react to keep the children safe.
Exactly.
Men were more stoic, because it's like, okay, tomorrow we need to go hunt. Not, oh, do I feel like hunting? No, the village gotta eat.
But it's your duty. Once again, like the brother Tate said, it's your duty. You don't feel like doing it, but you have to. It's your duty.
100%.
You're once again, the guy. People can say whatever they want, but we in times where you can pick and choose. I'm picking and choosing the good things that he's been saying.
100%.
So people don't really have to come back to that. The way I feel doesn't determine how I'm going to perform on that day. If I'm not feeling like going to the gym, I might not be going hard as you usually see me going, but I'm still there. I'm still put the work in. I might not feeling like going to work, but I wake up as early as I can and I go and do work, put my hours in, and then, you know what I mean? So you can't allow the way you feel or your emotions determine how you're going to perform or behave out in the world.
And if we look at it, whether you're in the gym, whether you're in the workspace, or whether it's life, like, the gym in itself is a metaphor for all of them.
Yes.
Because if you train consistently in the gym, you reach your goal, whether you want to get bigger, whether you want to lose weight. If you want to make money, if you work hard consistently at researching what to do, finding ways, you will become rich.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's the same with everything.
Exactly.
But now, for whatever reason, people have been convinced that, if things are not going well in your life, you fall into depression, give up. But no, it's about seeing the light, in a sense. Like you say, you've seen the positive things from what Tate said.
Once again, going to the depression thing, even today I was watching 50 Cent interview, and he mentioned something, and I've heard this before, and I hope people don't take this in the wrong way.
Depression is
depression is a luxury, depending on where you are. Because I'll give you a good example. You go to a third world country. When I go back home to Africa to see family, they don't have the same facilities that we have, especially when it comes to roads and sewages and hospital accessibilities and stuff like that. And you don't hear that. You don't hear I'm depressed. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but they don't get into that stage, or they don't allow that to take over, because they have a duty.
100%.
You know what I mean? But in the West is a reality, because I don't know, maybe too much free time, maybe you don't have the right people around you
100%.
in order to, you're not in the right mindset right now, but don't allow that to creep in, don't allow that to take over. You still need to perform, you still need to do this, and this is the reason why I love either Tristan and Andrew, because they pushing that narrative, bro. Regardless, You can't, because you can't tell me someone who is in worse financial situation than you. Once again, health is not there. Like sewer system is not there. School system is debatable if depending on where they are, and people that have 1 meal a day, not because they want to. Me and you, we might, like, I do it, like I do intermittent fasting. I have 1 meal a day some weeks and stuff like that.
It's
choice. You see what I'm saying? After he finished that meal, he's already thinking if on that day he's going to be able to get another one, or if he's getting the next one on the next day. Back home they call it one shot a day. You know what I mean?
I feel like in this country, people have paralysis by analysis. They have too many options, so now they're stuck. What do I do? And then obviously they will go to social media. They will hear, oh, this person said he's depressed because he doesn't know what to do. Maybe that's what this feeling is.
Yes.
But that feeling is you're just struggling to find the thing that works with you. But if you can find that thing, focus on it. Hey, who knows what will happen? Do you know what I mean?
Once again, hence why the village concept is so important, because let's say, okay, one of our brothers is going through it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. All I'm saying is if you have the right system around you, right people around you, the right support around you, you won't allow that. They won't take over. Something 100%. Will be done about it, you know, and hopefully before the extreme happens. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
It exists.
But once again, what the brother said is true. It is an option. If I don't believe in it, it doesn't exist, because we can manifest our reality. 100%. Everybody knows that. Like you hear manifestation, affirmations,
all these things.
Whatever you put out there, either with words, spells,
they say the words have
with
power.
With thoughts. Yeah. You know, even all of these, what, like initial thoughts of someone.
Why do you think spells are called spells? Like spelling as a child, they say spelling, but spelling, it's all words.
Yeah,
it's just the power of
bring
the
it
word.
into existence. So if you put it out there, it will materialize eventually. So if you have the right system around you, the right brotherhood around you, and someone is able to pick it up. We have our circle. We're sitting down, yo, brother, we're noticing that you don't seem to be doing very well, this and that. And you see that generally these people care about me. We never gave you a reason to think otherwise. Then I believe you're comfortable enough to open up and put your things out there and let us know that, yo, yeah, I'm going through this, this and that. What do you guys think I should do? Or, you know, I think
100%.
So as a community, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying things don't exist, they don't happen, because they do. But once again, perspective is very important. So you're telling me it exists in the west, it doesn't exist in the east.
It's one of those things. It's like,
so where
you put the nail on the head once again with community. And you mentioned the war room before. I heard a story not too long ago. It was like a young man, I think he was either late teens or early 20s, joined the war, paid the whatever, £4,000, whatever it was. Once he joined, he said to the people within there, I don't have anything to offer you guys, but I'm here to learn.
Yes.
And if that doesn't show the power of community, I don't know what does.
There you go. Once again, you need to be humble enough to realize where you are at the moment and where you want to go. If you feel are in a position that I would like to achieve and you can provide me that guidance, there's nothing wrong with me humbling myself and being a student.
Yeah, and we all at certain aspects of life need to do that. Because you might be like, okay, I'm gonna Phil mentioned this thing, okay, yeah, I'll jot that down. And I might be the same, like you mentioned, for example, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing. My brain, I'm like, I've known communities, like fight communities, whether it's boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to be tight and to bring a lot of lessons from that. So there's a lot I will learn as well.
You have a good example. Those brothers from Dagestan, Habib, Islam, Usman, and not just them, they brought their concept to to the US to AKA, and now you have the coach Javier. You have what's the name of the brother who was heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier. You have, you know, I watched some of the videos on their channel on YouTube, and you can see in training, like the brotherhood, it is real. It is real because they practice something that where you are between life and death, depending on where you are, technique-wise, stamina-wise, whatever. And that's the real and raw form of a man, like
100%.
fighting. You know what I mean?
Back in the caveman
exactly.
days.
So if I'm displaying myself on my best or my worst among these men, I have to see them as brothers.
100%.
If they come in, like, lift me up after a loss or lift me up after a win, those are my brothers. Like, we go to war together. So, like, martial arts is 100%. I would advise as a father, if you have the chance, take your kids, put your kids on it early. I'm not saying take them just to that. Like, for example, my kids, they do swimming, they do football, but that's something that I'm looking in 2 years' time
Getting them in,
because
just for the community aspect,
and not
lessons.
just that, like the aspect of respect,
100%.
timing. There's so many values like involved in that that you can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? So that's you once again you hit the nail in the head because. The brotherhood that you find, like, and once again I played football and all that, it is different because let's say for
Football's
example,
not life or death.
no, but once again you starting right, I'm more advanced than you, but I see you go through the stages until you get to a level where, you know what I mean,
I feel you.
so it has to, you can't explain unless you go through it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean, like, and next thing you know, I'm battling you in the sense where you nearly overturning me. There's nothing wrong, there's no envy, there's no nothing. If anything, I'm proud of you, and because I saw how far you came. But those are the level of connection that you get from that world of, like, fighting.
Especially, like, even you mentioned football there. I was just thinking back to when I was playing football. You realize when you're doing certain things, it's not for yourself, because football is not an individual sport, it's a team sport. You're literally fighting for the other people you're playing with. So whereas sometimes you might not feel like, I want to do this, but when you realize that you're doing it for your community, your village per se,
you're going to war,
go harder.
You're going to war with your brothers, like,
100%.
you know, so hence why sports going to be so emphasized in this podcast, because sports englobes more than just winning, like in regards to numbers, points, percentage, or it is about the brotherhood through whatever sports you're doing, unless he's like a single
inbuilt
sport.
in men.
Exactly.
Were built to want to be in groups.
Exactly.
Because if you go back to caveman times, it was groups to hunt.
Yeah. But it goes back to, for example, we were talking about today's society. It's all about me, selfishness. Selfishness is a human trait. But we were selfish in regards to the sense where everybody was going to benefit from it.
Oh, of course, like
You just
like
gave
I
a
said,
good
with
example.
Their hunting, they
exactly.
killed everyone.
Exactly.
Eats. And have you seen Rise of Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
So there's a scene where obviously they're not talking, so he explains if you have one stick, it's easy to break.
There you go.
But if there's a lot of sticks, it's hard to break. I'm now feeling that things are becoming the way they are because they want people to be individuals, then they are easier to break. Hence, obviously, we're not saying depression doesn't exist, but hence depression being thrown in the mix.
Yes.
Because it's like if people are separate, split up, and then that gets put on their heads, they can't fight through it.
No, not at all. And hence the reason why, once you mentioned the Matrix, if people are not familiar with, please go watch it, like Malcolm X movie played by Denzel Washington. And there's a scene where Brother John is taken to the police station and Malcolm comes through and demands to see him. And the police officers at the time, they didn't realize who he was. And then there's a scene where Malcolm suggests them, like, look through the window and they see everybody in line, everybody like in group following the lead of this man. And the police chief comes and said, "There's too much power for one man." I'm not putting Tate in the same level as Malcolm, but the level of power that he has right now, 100% this brother could start a rebellion. No, I'm not saying he would take over a country. I'm not saying he would win, going after but because he has so much influence, because he resonates with, especially with the most important demographic, which is the military demographic, 100%. Which is young men. That's why they're coming for him. He doesn't. I don't believe he did what he did. If he did, by all means, he needs to pay for it. He needs 100%. To go to jail, whatever. But I don't, because you had girls coming out and saying that's not true. The supposed girls that the prosecution said they were by him. They coming out and say the only reason why they're doing is because this brother has too much power in his hands. That's the only reason why.
He even mentioned it once. There was, I can't remember the historic person he mentioned, but he said that historic person was killed. Plato, there we go. Yes. And he said Plato was killed because he had so much power to influence the youth, the military,
yes.
And obviously, after he said that, now we're seeing what's happening to him. It's kind of like, I mean, it's in our faces, and people will choose to be like, "Oh no, it's not this."
But think about it, Phil. This guy is. No one can tame him. No one can tell him what to do. He has a mind of his own, and he has a good head on his shoulders.
100%.
And he's providing men with what men need today, right? So if the quote unquote let's say dominant society, them people out there can't control them. They need to stop it in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, and he said 3 strikes.
But the easiest way, and you go back to a recent case that came out, Benjamin Mendy.
Oh,
all you need to say, he did it. Until it's proven. The guy lost 2 years of his life. Apparently, City like resigned the contract with him, whatever. Yeah, and now he comes out, he didn't do it.
And it's like his life has been ruined already.
But all you need to mention is SA to ruin a man's life.
100%.
That's it. And then when it comes out, it wasn't true. Okay, yeah, pat in the back and move on. But you still live with that stigma.
The Johnny. I mean, we could go into demographics and be like, it's harsh on one demographic over another, but that's a story for another day. But the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case.
There you go.
If it wasn't for Johnny Depp having money, the money he has, the lawyers he has, she would have got away with saying he did all these things.
Well, it makes sense what you're saying, but then again, Benjamin Mendy is a multi-millionaire.
No, but this is what I'm saying. The demographic.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it depends. It depends. It is a tricky one. But my thing is, once again, I'm not defending or condoning this type of thing. If it happens, whoever done it, because I have females in my women in my family that I love very much, and I would hate if something happened like that. Yeah. But reality is, a lot of cases, they're not true. So what should happen to the person that made those allegations and those claims? Nothing happens. You know what I mean? So once again, as men, if we don't have safe spaces like this where we can go and be us, just us, talk about men things in general without having to, am I gonna offend someone? Just us, not saying that that's what the space is for, but just me being me as a man. There's nothing wrong with that, but for some reason everything is a toxic masculinity nowadays.
100%.
So if I have a space like that where I can advise and guide young men in how to like behave in regards to the opposite sex, by all means. I had that. Luckily, I had that. Like growing up, like my brother, uncles, and stuff like that. But nowadays, these kids don't, because majority of them were raised by tablets and iPhones and stuff like that.
100%.
You know, what I mean? There's no like a father figure.
Besides people now coming up like the Tates,
Exactly.
which they're then now trying to close off.
Exactly. So, and you see the influence that he's been having on young men, like for example, Adin Ross.
Yep.
The guy is doing amazing. He's changing, and initially people were saying, this is just a cover up, or he's just faking it. But no, he's going through it. You can see it. If you follow the guy, you can see it, and he's being genuine to the point that the Andrew or someone on this account published. I
saw that.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're gonna say.
Why? Because
let them know, like
exactly. So basically, he was granted the list of people that is allowed to visit him. Apart from his lawyer, 4 other people and one more, which one of them happens to be Adin Ross.
Yeah.
So that's not like him acknowledging that he's seeing the development and growth on the kid. I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? But once again, people paint him on the way they want to paint him, but you can't deny those things as well. They're out there. You know what I mean? So
I thought, to be fair, when I saw that, I thought there's 2 thoughts. There's Adin Ross has come a long way. So he wants to see him, he wants to speak to him. And then I also thought Andrew Tate is good at chess.
Yes.
Mastermind. Yeah. So maybe he's like, if someone tweets this on my account, this is gonna go out.
Yeah.
But it's also a good opportunity for him to meet with someone who's following the ways, who can also influence a majority of people.
But if anything, also he gives you the perspective of him as a mentor.
100%.
Basically, he just said, kid, I see what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. And because of, I want you to know that I acknowledge what you're doing. Here it is. I'm seeing you as a family member now. And that's powerful. That's what a lot of kids like in these cities and like throughout England and America and
that's
you
what
name
they
it need guidance. Like for example in Portugal, there's a guy that died recently called Johnson. He had this football academy in one of the worst like neighborhoods back home, and he passed away recently. And the outpouring like support that came out of like a lot of young men that he was mentoring throughout the years, he took out the street, helped them out when they came out of jail and stuff like that. And when the guy was gone, like you could
something that
you have to see in order to understand. And I tell you, God forbid, but if something happens to Tate, you will see the same thing. But obviously 10 times bigger. You know what I mean?
Spartans!